Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
You're Sudhir Kumar.
Yes.
Please take a seat. Sudhir.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Sudhir, for the benefit of the panel, can you give a quick introduction?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir. My name is Sudhir Kumar. I come from Begusarai, Bihar, and I have done my schooling from Begusarai. And then after I graduated from IIT Bombay, I have done BTech and MTech from IIT Bombay. And then I worked in Microsoft Hyderabad for 2 years. And from 2021, I am preparing full time for civil services.
So, with that kind of a background, professional degrees, would it be a good idea to? Would it have been a good idea to pursue a career in engineering? What motivates you to join the civil service?
Sir, first of all, sir, my motivation is since from childhood itself, coming from the humble background. And second is, sir, the civil services will also be providing me very good learning opportunity. And with my skills and my expertise, I would try to implement the technology in the administration.
Tell me something about Mission Karmyogi.
Sir, Mission Karm Yogi was introduced somewhere in 2019, and it was aimed to give training to mid-level bureaucracy, so that they become more public-oriented rather than rule-oriented.
So, what is the platform which is being used for this training?
Sir, if I can remember correctly, it was I got platform on which.
IGOT stands for what? Full form?
Sir, I'm not able to recall.
Integrated Government Online Training. Thanks. Right. You are aware, of course, that prohibition was introduced in Bihar. Now, prohibition never succeeded in any country. Do you think it's time to scrap prohibition in view of the massive drawbacks associated with it?
Certainly, sir, the drawbacks are quite visible at this point of time. Also, Supreme Court and other governments are also pointing it out. But the intent was very clear. The intent was to save the dignity of the movement when it was introduced. And in my opinion, sir, we should have proper socio-economic cost-benefit analysis before scrapping it out. And we should give a time to 2, 3, 4 more years. And then after, we should take a conscious decision.
There's a lot of talk these days about chat GPT. What is the full form of GPT?
Sir, it is a generative pre-trained network.
Generative
Pre-trained network.
pre-trained network, and then it would be GPN.
Oh, sorry, it should be pre-trained transformer network.
Yes, that's what. Tell me something about ChatGPT in terms of two positive users and two negative users.
Sir, the positive uses could be it can provide a better learning ability in various remote areas. And second, sir, it would also provide people to be more creative with its use and its learning capability. And in fact, the government also is trying to integrate the Chat GPT in Bhasini app that government is planning to introduce. And the negative would be, sir, it can reduce the human capability to think, because it can right now, sir, pass any MBA or the Stanford exam also. And second, sir,
But it failed with the UPSC prelims.
yes, sir, yes, certainly.
Well, thank you.
UPSC is difficult to crack, huh? So, Sudhir, what is the situation of NWE problem in Bihar now?
Sir, right now, with the recent reports coming up, the LW extremism has been almost abolished. A little bit is present in a few pockets of Jammu, Rohtas, and in some very few pockets. Government had taken various positive steps, so it is showing its.
Okay. Uh, and especially the caste politics and criminalization of politics is very rampant in Bihar. What can be the reason for that, and what is the way out?
Sir, first of all, sir, what I think is the caste significance in politics is mostly due to the caste is still playing important role in Bihar, and it is partly due to the education and the employment opportunities are not so much, so they are not able to think clearly, and they still vote on the caste line. And the possible way to tackle this can be from the party itself, that they follow proper model code of conduct, and they don't basically make the vote bank on
Why
the
will
basis
they
of
do that?
caste.
Why will they do that? They will lose on the votes.
Yes, sir, certainly.
Give me a practical solution.
Practical solution would be, sir, to increase the literacy, to increase the education, and so that they don't vote on the caste lines, but on the development and the issue based.
Okay, then why are they having this caste census, which is being opposed by many parties and other states are not doing it? Bihar is doing it.
Yes, sir. Caste census is a bit sensitive at this point of time, and Bihar has taken a decision to do it. So, a few positives can be, sir, if we have the whatever caste data we are using, it is very old. It is 1931 data, and the SEC data is also full of errors. And third would be, sir, the data that is going to come out of this caste census is will be used for the better identification of beneficiaries and
Okay, fine. You passed out from IIT Bombay. How is IIT Bombay ranked among the IITs?
sir, it is sometimes it becomes first, sometimes it becomes second.
What about the problem of suicides in IIT Bombay? Of late, there have been a couple of suicides.
Sir, recently the investigation is going on, so I would not be able to comment the exact reason. But whatever the reasons coming out in the media, it is both institutional as well as the way the students are not able to mingle it up with the other peers. And second, sir, the institutional support mechanism should be there. Quite a few deficiencies were pointed out in the SC/ST cells, and in the institutional measures should be adopted.
Mhm. What exactly is the burden of proof? Have you heard of this term? Onus of proof or burden of proof?
Uh, exactly, I do not know, but vaguely I know.
Okay, let's see. What is that vaguely?
So, burden of proof indicates that uh, uh, you have to prove something. So, mostly it is used in the criminal.
Very correct, very correct. Yes.
So, when burden of proof lies on the victim, then victim has to prove that.
What is the normal scenario for a trial? When a trial is going on in a court, then burden of proof is it on the victim to prove himself innocent, or is it on the state to prove?
It is usually on the state to prove them the guilty.
In any is Do you know of any case where it is presumed that you are an accused, you are a
If
criminal?
I can remember correctly, sir, it is a POXO Act where
Has to prove it
the
otherwise.
victim has to prove themselves innocent.
My last question to you: after this COVID, e-commerce, like companies like Amazon, Flipkart, they have dominated the whole market, and the position of the retailer, the retail shop next of our mohalla, they are really badly hit. So is government concerned about it, and has government done something about it, or are they contemplating anything?
Yes, sir. Government had come up with a few regulations. First of all, sir, with e-commerce regulation bill, it had banned the inventory-based model. And second, sir, any deep discounting in the form of consumer interest is being prohibited right now. And these e-commerce websites are also supposed not to have more than 25% of the partnership in any of the selling companies. And in fact, the government is trying to launch the ONDC platform itself to make it more democratized.
Has it launched it, or is still planning?
It is still planning stage.
Do you know that Amazon has also joined that ONDC? So the whole purpose is defeated, isn't it?
Not exactly, sir. it is basically a congregation of technologies. It is just like the UPI where anyone can join. So it will have separate verticals and everyone will be able to join.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sudhir, you have a very impressive CV in terms of your education, in terms of your job profile. So, and then I have seen that you have tried UPSC for the last 4 years. Where is the pressure coming from? Is it your wish or is family pressure?
It's my wish only, sir.
But I find it little troubling. In the next 25 years, I mean, so-called India's Amrit Kal, your contribution to India's growth can be much more, effective as an technocrat, as an entrepreneur, as a startup company later on somewhere, sometime I can foresee, rather than being an IS officer or IPS officer or IFS officer. What is your view on this? Okay, let's not talk in general terms. Suppose you are an IS officer in Bihar cadre and you are posted, let's say, in Jamui as district magistrate. What is it that you can do with the help of your technological background to help the governance of that region?
Sir, first of all, sir, I would at that point of time I would try to identify the weakness and the strength of that particular district. And the first my first initiative would be digitalize the services, whatever the services that can be digitalized, so that the accessibility of the services reaches to farthest corner. And second, sir, I would also try to utilize the use of technology in the education sector, providing tele education, the edtech education. In fact, Unnayan Banka was also one of the program where it received accolades. And also, sir, I will try to work on the telemedicine. In fact, I worked on the oral cancer also, where I could identify just by the image itself. So such kind of initiatives can be introduced.
Have you heard about Bihar Foundation?
Sorry, sir, I have not heard.
The Ministry of Industry in Bihar has started this concept of Bihar Foundation and asked Bihari NRIs all over the world to help them grow industry in Bihar. Okay, probably you can pick up some things about that. I would still imagine that you would be aware of G20 presidency of India. Give me your take on India's G20 presidency.
Sir, it's a unique opportunity for India to showcase its prominence in the world where we are having, and we are right now, sir. We are becoming and projecting ourselves as a leader of global South, as well as, sir, we are in the unique position to negotiate with both West and East, and we can have and we have emphasized on debt sustainability of the as well. So it is basically a sign of rising stature of India, and the other countries will follow.
Last question. Is US India's good friend or Russia?
Sir, as our honorable foreign minister also says, there are no permanent friend and no permanent. So it is only the national interest that matters in the foreign relations. So
Okay, thank you.
thank you. Sir.
So, Sudhir, let me ask you a few more questions related to the foreign policy. What is India's neighborhood first policy? Can you tell me a little bit about that? What is it all about?
Ma'am, yes, ma'am. Its neighborhood policy is giving much more importance to the neighboring countries, and
Which
does
countries?
the neighboring countries like Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, and China itself, and do not try to project India as a big brother, and also help the other countries without
Avoid. Yeah. Okay.
and without basically anticipating anything in return. India should help the foreign country.
Are we doing it?
Yes, ma'am, we are certainly doing it.
We didn't help Pakistan.
Ma'am, we have never denied it, and only our apprehension is the terrorism should stop from the Pakistan land base, and if they commit to it, then we will be happy to help Pakistan.
What?
That their land will not be used against India or against national interest of India, then we will certainly be help Pakistan.
And what is China? What about China? You said China is also part of our neighborhood, and it's part of the. Is it part of the neighborhood first policy?
I do not remember this.
Yeah. So, and what are our current relations with China? What is happening?
Uh,
How do you see that?
Yes, ma'am. The China and India relations are little bit strained because of the border clashes near Aksai Chin and somewhere in the Arunachal Pradesh also. And
Are you aware of the reasons for these clashes? What could possibly be the reason?
exactly, I am not well aware, but the China believes in salami slicing, so it has expansionist policy right now, and the first reason would be, ma'am, India is rising in this eastern domain, eastern area, and China does not want. China wants its supremacy in Asia, so it does not want the other power to rise in this particular area, and it wants India to get involved in these skirmishes so that India loses its focus on the growth and other part.
Another reason, one of the main reasons for these, there was peace and tranquility for some years along the border, along our not border, around along the LAC, the line of actual control. But what is the reason? Why does Pakistan? I mean, one of the reasons, as you mentioned, is of course that they don't want India to. They want to put India in its place. But what is the other reason? Why is there no agreement? We've been negotiating for so long on the border, but it's not going forward. What do you think could possibly be the reason?
Sorry, ma'am, do not know the
Not aware. McMahon line. Have you heard of the McMahon line? Yeah.
McMahon line. So, McMahon line. In fact, recently US has also acknowledged that McMahon line should be the border, and China does not acknowledge that this is the line because at that point of time it was negotiation between India, Tibet, and British.
Yeah. Then Tibet was an independent country, which they are now trying to say it's part of.
So they do not want.
One last question. What is happening what happened at the UK High Commission recently? Are you aware? I'm sorry, at the Indian High Commission in the UK, what happened? Are you aware?
Yes, ma'am. Recently, a few of the supporters from the Khalistan supporters, they basically tried to lower down the Indian flag at that point at British High Commission, and they had basically shown their support against whatever the crackdown that Punjab police is doing against the Khalistan.
Against one Amrit Pal Singh, right? And what has been the fallout of this incident? Just in a few words, if you can tell me. The fallout of this incident, what happened thereafter? What did India do in response?
India had summoned the High Commissioner of Britain, and we had showed the strong objections that this should not happen in Britain or in any other countries.
Why?
Ma'am, because whatever happening in India is basically internal matter, and any Khalistan-based support is a basically fight against sovereignty of the nation.
Under the Vienna Convention, something have are you aware of the Vienna Convention?
Sorry, ma'am, I'm not.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Sudhir,
Yes, sir.
you got 2 patents, US patents. What is it?
Sir, my both the patents are in the domain of artificial intelligence. My first domain is in the e-commerce itself, where we were showing the fashion recommendation. Whatever shirt you buy, what kind of pants or what kind of jackets you should buy with it. So these kind of recommendation. And second was to have uh, uh, a millions of nodes graph to implement this, and this million nodes graph can be assessed in a unit point of time.
Can you identify or can you trace back the origin of these patents?
Sorry, sir, I did not understand.
Can you trace the historical origin of these patents?
Sorry, sir, I'm not aware of that.
Okay. So why India has been giving, say, having less strict laws with respect to patents?
Sir, we are right now developing country, and we have introduced in our patent law itself. We have introduced no evergreening as well as compulsory licensing for better benefit of general public. So for us, sir, most of the countrymen are right now not able to afford that. So we have introduced these measures.
Okay. So with respect to your electrical engineering, so what are these grids?
Sorry, sir, smart
Grids in
smart
the
grids.
yeah.
Yes, sir. Smart grids is is a new grid where the two-way communication will be allowed, and this under this two-way communication, the any fault lines will be identified quickly. In fact, the power itself uh, will be traded on the smart grid itself. So right now, sir, we are emphasizing on rooftop solar. So there you can sell the solar power itself to the grid, and the grid will supply. So this both exchange will happen in a smart grid, as well as the grid will be integrated. We will be able to identify the losses, the theft, any particular theft happens in one particular feeder or one particular area, then we will be able to identify through smart.
Okay. So can you tell how AI, machine learning, or IoT is playing a role in the area of smart grids?
Sir, this IoT based technology can be the backbone for implementing the smart grids, and this in fact coming up with 5G technology also. This communication between these IoT devices to control the smart grid will be much more helpful, and will be much more easier.
Okay. What is the status of India in terms of implementation of these smart grids?
I do not know the exact number, but we are implementing a smart grid in few smart cities.
So did we start the process?
I'm not completely aware of this. Sorry.
So one last question is from your sociology background. Can you tell the or say 2 or 3 very important attributes of Indian Communist parties that defines what exactly it is its ideology?
Sir, Indian Communist Party is mostly labor centric, and they also want uh, to project the marginalized sections interest, as well as the one of the extremist ideology of communist has taken the form of Naxalism also, where they want a stateless society.
That's so communism and liberalism most of the times are put in the opposite dimensions in the scale of ideologies. But most of the times, Indian communist parties or the leaders or the activists are all talking about liberalism. So, how do you look at it?
Sir, I am not able to differentiate between two completely. But what I can think of is, sir, at this point of time, no party is completely communist or no party is completely liberal. In fact, right now, sir, the communist regime in China itself is becoming more and more capitalistic, and they want to project themselves as a liberal country. So with the evolving times, the line between them has been blurred, and all are basically try to gain from both the sides.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So that is the formal interaction. We will now give you the feedback and also some inputs about how to wrap up your preparation. When is your interview?
13th April.
You got some time.
Yes.
So Sudhir, what is your set of questions? How did you prepare?
Sir, I felt good. I
So firstly, let me start with the basics. You're sitting there in a very stiff posture with your hands stuck to your eyes. Have you seen so many YouTube videos showing?
Sir, I tried this way also, and this way also. So I find it more comfortable in this way only.
Whatever suits your comfort level, you should do that. But this gives a rather stiff look. So you can, from time to time, do like this also.
Yes, sir.
Just to show, it's not an interrogation. It's a free exchange of views. You are exchanging views with some senior members. That's all.
Yes.
So you just need to give that amount of respect to the board. Otherwise, that's your personal space.
Yes.
You can do what you like. So, see, a few general observations, Sudhir. They are not testing your knowledge, right? They are testing your personality. They are testing how poised you are, how self-aware you are, your knowledge, your awareness rather about yourself, your district, state, nation, world. First thing is integrity. So don't guess. Second thing is that don't get into entanglement with the member. Always bear that in mind. If you find that it is becoming heated or if it is becoming slacking match, then just excuse yourself and say that in view of what you have said, sir, I may or ma'am, I may have to revisit my position.
Yes.
So what you should do now in the time available today is to take about 30, 40 of these A4 size papers. Build up something like 150 questions, make a question bank. Then for each question, each topic, do a deep dive, deep study, so that you're fully conversant with that topic. Then make some bullet points as an aid to your memory and in order of importance. Right? So what that will do is it will give you that base from which to work on. Then you have to keep thinking about it, make it part of your internalize it so that it becomes part of your thinking process. Don't memorize it because no one wants a parrot sitting there and going on it. But if you internalize it, then you'll be able to talk about these things with a lot of fluency and with a lot of structure to your answer. Sit in front of a mirror and practice, practice, practice. Imagine that this question will come, this is how I do. Or you can ask a relative to videotape you. So that way you'll be able to get a lot of self-confidence from this exercise. What newspapers are you reading?
Sir, right now, Indian Express, Times of India, and Business Standard.
And are you seeing any TV channels?
Sometimes I see Rajya Sabha TV debates.
It's no longer Rajya Sabha, it's Sunset TV.
Sunset TV, yes.
I would suggest you add Beyond also. Beyond gives you heard of Beyond?
Yes.
What is one news?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Gives you a very good idea of what's going on in the world.
Yes, certainly.
So having said all this, I would say that you bring a lot of positives to the table. You are a very good candidate for selection, and we all hope to see you in the best of luck.
Thank you.
All the best.
All the
Thank you.
best. All the
Thank you.
best.
Thank you.